the whole team always want to do something different. So there are already plenty of companies are doing translation apps, translation devices. We always focus on communication. The reason is, I think back to 2016, my parents used to travel in Europe. So I downloaded a bunch of translation apps for them. But it turns out, even there, my mom, when she went to the Mount Alps, and she went through the high altitude sickness. Yeah, that's crazy, and it's quite dangerous, because she's just faint. The doctors in Switzerland helped her, and when they came back, I asked them, my parents, do they use the translation apps I downloaded for them? Because I use like Google Translate, Microsoft Translate, or even like the 100 most used sentences that you should speak when you're traveling abroad, but none of them can help. So the reason, when I asked them, they said it's too awkward, because if you really use this thing to have a conversation with the other party, then it's used like walkie-talkie. You press the button, then you hold it, then speak something, and let the other hear the play. Then the other one get to speak again. So it's quite consecutive, and there's so many embarrassment. So it is at that point I realized that despite all these translation tools, none of them are focused on building a real relationship or help people to have a real conversation. So that's where we start. The inspiration comes from the thing behind the Babel fish, because it can be Babel fish, it can be Babel cat, you can even Babel cow. That's all the same thing. And you can also see from like Star Trek, you can see universal translators. So what's behind that is people always want to have a real immersive conversation despite the translation devices. So when it turns from the translate into communicate, so you will feel there's a big gap, because translate only focus on like accuracy, latency. But when it comes to communication, like us, what we're doing right now is that keep our eye contact, body language. So that's more immersive. But if that's the case, you will need to develop some like specific hardware and software together to make people don't feel awkward or inefficient anymore. So we have to spend so much effort on this kind of aspect. That's basically what we are doing right now. It is a little bit technical when we're talking about what makes us different, because the communication or immersive translation, it's an ideal scenario or it's a concept, but behind that you have to overcome many technical challenges. So for example, if you use your AirPods or any other true wireless stereo earbuds in Bluetooth, so you can easily find that if you share one earbud to another one, then having a conversation won't be possible, because in technical way, the communication channels are limited. So that's one of the things we want to overcome. And also later on, we want to make people hands-free. Then we develop a new, neural network algorithm to detect when you talk and when you stop. So these are steps. You have to climb one step by another. Then maybe the Babel fish is in the sky, like a North Star, where you can never reach, but you can always get to know whether you're walking towards the right direction. I think we always focus on the user scenario. So let's forget the technical part. Let's forget about the company's inspiration or slogan, but let's get back to the users. So there are different kinds of communication scenarios. One of them are more, simple, very short conversation. But the other is you want to have a longer conversation. For example, the friends chat, you're in a party, or even you want to look for help from the police. So these are longer conversations. What differs that is the length of the conversation, and the more complicated it is, the more immersive need the device to help you. So I think that's the way of how we think about this. First, it's a set of 2 earbuds, and the most classical way to use it is that we wear one for each. For example, I wear one, you wear another one, then you connect to our app on the phone, then we can easily have immersive chat. We can talk at the same time without any, you don't have to wait for me to finish. So you can intervene to cut in the conversation. So that's more natural than it used to be. But if you're using other product, you will feel like you can wear one and you have to hold the phone to another party. So you have to interact like this. For example, like Pixel Buds you mentioned, they have a function with the Google Pixel. Actually, if you have ever watched the video they advertised, so that's basically how it works. It's worked like this way. We're continuously getting feedbacks that people wanted to get a media translation, or even online call translation, or you are the one who are attending a meeting online. You want to understand what the other says if they are speaking different languages. So we're continuously in these years receiving these feedbacks. So that's why for this generation, we add more features when you're having a media in different languages, or you are attending some meetings at the same way. To be honest, they're not get used to the longer conversation. So what we're talking about is what's the scenario of the user want to use it. If you're using, for example, if I am speaking Chinese from now on, we still want to have a dialogue, and so then this one is perfect for this kind of scenario. But if you only want to go abroad to take pictures, asking for directions, then it can use other solutions instead. And because that's for very short conversation, so it depends.